listeners. Welcome to another episode of Romance Unraveled. This is your host, Jacob Bozen.
Hi, everyone, and I'm your co-host, Jamie Lobato.
I have a special announcement for our listeners. You can now contribute financially to the success of the show by making a $5 donation. This can be done on Instagram or Facebook. If you go to Instagram, the username for the show is romance underscore unraveled underscore. On Facebook, you can directly search Romance Unraveled. If you go to the link in the bio, it's going to take you to the link tree, and then it will prompt you to go to buy me a coffee, and you can make a donation of $5. The donation will go directly to the promotion of the show to expand the listener reach and also hosting costs and editing costs that may be associated with that as well. And this week, we actually have Jamie telling us a variety of different stories. So he's going to kind of go one by one here. I only know a little bit out of like each of them. And so this will be interesting. And I think they're going to be pretty entertaining for you guys to hear today. So, Jamie, let's get right into it.
Perfect. Well, like, I don't want to be insensitive to it, but I always call this story the date that I went on with a homeless person. Um, simply because let's just jump into it. So, anyways, I can't remember the time frame. I think I told you, Jacob, it was around like maybe 2016-ish, around there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I lived up north in Utah, 30 minutes away from Salt Lake at the time. And there was this guy that I was meeting for the very first time. We've been talking, right? So we are going to go on our first date, and we agreed around 2-ish. Now, for me, that meant 2:15 when I say ish, and it's not like a 8 or 8:30, right? Like I just think of 15-minute increments. I don't know why my brain does that, but it does. Anyways, we were going to meet at a coffee bar in Salt Lake, and so he texted me around 1:50 saying, "I'm here. I haven't even left." And as you know, that is a long drive from northern Utah to Salt Lake.
Well,
So
right.
go
It's like
down was like,
it's like at least 30 minutes and probably 30 miles, maybe.
yeah. Anyone who knows me, I'm never punctual. So to make these podcasts on time, you must be very proud. But drive down to Salt Lake, tell them like, don't worry, everything's on me. Right? We meet at this coffee shop, one of my favorite coffee shops in Salt Lake, Coffee Break, right on Floor South. And so Coffee Break is there's two entrances. I think you can go through the front, and then there's the one in the back. But I
There are
always use,
two.
and I'm only used because I just remember the patio in my mind right now up front. Like I don't remember there being like an entrance, but I know there's a front door and there's a patio, right? So going through the back door, and that's a very important part of the story. So go through the back door, meet. We'll call him. We'll call him Adam. I meet Adam, right? Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Coffee's on me. He bought my drink anyways. So here I am, already late for this date. How lovely I am. And then I go and sit down. We start to, converse. Uh, and at this point, a homeless person walks in through the back door. Typically, like, I don't really care, right? Like, I don't, you never know what's going to
Well,
happen. So I try not.
my first reaction would have been I would have been giving like the eyes and the look to the person who's running the business. Did they have a reaction at all, or were they just like, whatever?
Like the owner of the shop or the person on the date with me.
I'm the owner of the shop.
Well, that's like the weird part, right? Because like as you know how coffee break is, you have to go up front to order.
Hmm.
I don't know. I haven't been in this coffee bar for like years, right? But I know up front to order, you have to go up to the front of the store. And so the back of the store, they don't really have any eyes back where the couches are or anything like that. So unless they go back there to clean or to grab more product in their storage room, I don't think they can see it. And so he never went up front. But I was like, okay, like if I don't say anything and we don't like if we don't say anything to this homeless person or unhoused person, like they're not going to cause an issue, right? Well, kind of incorrect because he just comes over with his backpack and plops down on the couch because I'm sitting like in a chair and Adam's sitting on the couch. And there's an open spot next to Adam. So he just like walks all over or walks on over and just like plops down on the couch next to us. It's like, okay,
Did
awkward.
you guys just eye each other? Were you like, what is happening?
Yeah, I kind of think it was like what the, you know, bleep. Kind of look. I like to give facial expressions, so I'm pretty sure my eyes were talking. I don't really remember too like it wasn't until we started talking and the homeless person was interjecting that the whole situation got like crazy, right? And so I I'm sitting there, we're having this conversation, he comes and plops down next to us on the couch, and he's like blah 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 blah, like talking about whatever. And I think it's at that point that the unhoused homeless person like looks in his mind that we're actually on a date because he looks at us and goes, "Oh, I know what you two are up to." And Adam's like, "Okay, like what are we up to?" And he goes, you two are part of the rainbow or unicorn squad." And, Adam's like, "Oh yeah, if you mean gay, we're definitely gay." And like I think it's like I think it's something that I want to like brand and put like on shirts and stuff at this point now.
The
Kind of
Rainbow
clever.
Squad.
Rainbow Squad. And he says that, and then he opens his backpack and pulls out this tall can of beer and just starts drinking. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, the owner of this coffee shop's like, they have to kick this person out at this point,
Well,
right? But they
for
don't see anything.
sure. For sure. I would have immediately went up there and been like, "Hey, you have got an issue back here." And I would have just said that and went back and sat down. Yeah, like I am pretty blunt when those sorts of things happen, especially in people's businesses or restaurants. Like people will not believe me that I'm gonna do something. And then the moment that they don't believe me, I get up and I go do it and they get shocked. This would be one of those instances.
I I don't disagree with you, right? Like that was never really in my mind. More so of like how does this end, right? And so I remember Adam's over there like looking at me like looks at his watch, looks back at me and like tips his head to the door because the homeless person can't see him. And before we left, he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, guys. I'm cool with y'all being part of the Rainbow Unicorn Squad. Do you know Tom, my gay friend Tom in Colorado?" And Adam's like, "Definitely know gay Tom. Gay Tom is great, right? Like he's just being a very good sport and going with the conversation." So, like at that point, he signals to the door, so we both like get up, and I was like, "Oh, like we have somewhere to be. We have that meeting, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, we do." So go to the back door, we walk out, and I said, "Oh my God, this was the worst interaction possible, but most memorable interaction possible." So I was like, "I'm so sorry that I was late. Uh, that you ended up paying for the drinks because I was late, and that this homeless person came down and joined our date." And he was like, "It's totally fine." We agreed to see each other again, and as we both I think it happened like while we kissed or after that the homeless person walked down and started peeing on the building. So it's just like,
So while you both are outside having your goodbye kiss or whatever you want to call it, he comes out and he starts peeing on the building.
absolutely. Uh, and I just remember I get to my car and I texted him immediately and said, "Oh my God, did you see that?" And he's like, "Yeah, you couldn't miss that." And I said, "Okay, okay, well, if you're down, I'd still like to see you."
I would be
Flash.
flipping out if I was this business owner. Like I would be really pissed off and I'd be like, go away. But to be honest, knowing the area and probably the demographic of people who run businesses in this area, I imagine that they're all for this sort of thing and they don't care.
Well, and it's like it's super interesting, right? Because like even when I was like bartending in Salt Lake, as a banquet server and bartender. I remember people would always be like, "Wow, your city's so clean. You should be proud of your city." But like, I know pre-COVID. after COVID, right? It's a really big problem in Salt Lake. And so everyone knows it's an issue, right? And so, like, as you were saying, these businesses are probably like it's a regular day in Salt Lake City. But flash forward, Adam and I go on another date over at his place. And I remember my girlfriend calls me and was like venting about,
Your girlfriend?
well, no, like my one of my best friends. I don't have a
Okay.
girlfriend.
I was like, well, this is a twist.
Well, I had those in high school, but that was just until I graduated. No, like my girlfriend is like one of my good friends, right? So on the phone with her, and she's venting to me. I think they're going on some trip or whatever, and that her friend's family is like paying for everything and like paid for everything for this girl to do whatever. Like I remember they paid for her to like they just gave her like one of their own credit cards, right? And like to each their own, whatever parents want to do, like that's up to them and their prerogative, I guess, whatever. But my friend was like venting to me about it and was like, "Oh, like she doesn't work for anything. Her parents just gives her whatever." And in hindsight, I didn't really think of what I was saying because Adam's parents owned a lawn care or like landscaping company in California. And I was like, and I think he had one of the company trucks, right? Like the parents owned the truck that he had, whatever. And I was
Of
like,
course.
yeah, like people never like learn how to work for anything in their lives. He didn't have a job. Like the Adam didn't have a job or anything. He was going to the U and he got really upset. And I didn't understand why because I was just like just conversing with my friend, right?
What did he say to you?
He said, I'm gonna leave and go cut my fingernails in the truck.
What? Why? Why?
I guess his fingernails were long and he had to clip them in the truck. I don't.
Why would you say that? That is weird. Why, who would say, hey, we're on a date at my apartment, but let me go to my truck real quick to cut my fingernails? Like, like, I can only think of one reason why he would be doing that, that I'm not gonna say, but knowing you, I don't think that would really roll with you. I don't know. I don't know. But that's why do you know why he needed to do that?
Well, I mean, obviously, I made him really mad about the comment because his parents were paying for everything while he was living in Salt Lake, right?
But what a dumb excuse. Like that's doesn't make any sense. Who would come up with that on the spot?
I love it because who doesn't cut their fingernails in their truck now, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally. Uh, and that's when I was like, because it was like a studio, right? So I'm like in his bed. I'm like, I told my girlfriend, I'm like, oh yeah, I pissed him off.
That's so weird. So did you ever see him again after that?
No, no. I mean, well, like it wasn't like he went out for a pack of smokes and never came back to his apartment, right? Like he came back in after like chopping off his um fingernails,
Did
whatever,
he
in his
actually
truck.
do that, or was like, could you tell if he actually did it or not?
Cut his fingernails?
Yeah.
Um, yes, because I do remember them being extremely long, but he didn't like do it on
What
purpose.
in
It's like,
the hell?
but I just remember that they were long nails because like I don't know, I'm really bad at it. Like I'll let my nails get really long. I'm like, oh, like crap, I need to cut them, right? Um, but so yeah, that totally happened. And then like we never saw each other again.
That is so weird. Like, that is the weirdest way to end something that I've ever heard out of this whole time I've done this show. I have to
I
go
mean,
cut my fingernails in the truck. Like, what?
some people, I mean, I was gonna say some people say they're gonna go out for a pack of smokes and never return, and he went to go get his fingernails. So
Okay, well, I guess that closes the first story. What other
yes,
story do you have today?
Jacob and I have like discussed this already, right? That we did Model UN together in college, um, which of course just Model United Nations, right? And so we had this chapter at our school that we were getting ready to go to the annual conference. It's in San Francisco, like Burlingame, right by the airport. And we had a group we've always had like one or two females, not like a big amount, right? So there was one female going with us, but then there was a bunch of other men. Um, and there was one that I remember. He was always friendly to me, right? Like he was always nice. And I remember when we were there, we didn't really talk or anything much other than been like, oh, how's like committee session going, blah blah blah. Flash forward a couple of years after this, right? That one of my other good girlfriends is, I guess it was either one of my girlfriends or one of my gay friends was hanging out with him. Yes, yes, yes. It was one of my gay friends because it was his roommate. And he was like, oh, yeah, he says that you wanted him so bad. I'm like, I don't even know this man. Like, we just shared a class together. I mean, the only other person I knew well in that course was like you and the professor, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, not once do I ever remember this. And he was like, yeah, Jamie wanted me from the start. And I told him no. And I was like, and it wasn't like just like a relayed conversation. They filmed this and sent it to me on Snapchat.
I did not know that. What?
I thought I told you that part. Yeah, 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 yeah. And obviously, I think there was like alcohol involved in this conversation because he was like slurring his words a little bit. He was like, yeah, Jamie totally wanted this. And I'm like, no.
I totally remember exactly who this person is. I cannot remember his name though. But to give context to the listeners, he's like one of those kind of borderline macho hetero men that are curious about the other side, but it will
Which,
never happen.
well, absolutely. Which sometimes you can see that with some people, but with him, I was just like, maybe he's just like weird. I don't know. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, I don't,
Yeah,
and I don't care what you do in your personal life as long as you don't hurt other people. I'm totally just whatever, right? Like, you stay over there, I'll stay over here. But never once did I ever inquire any interest. And
right.
I just don't like when that, like, don't make up things to make yourself look good. Because I was like, now you just look sus.
Well, that's 100% what it was. It was like he had this curious aspect to him, and of course, he sees you as being gay and me, but he wasn't this way with me. Um, and he's like, I don't know. It was really weird. It was almost like it was he was trying to talk about a fantasy that he had, but to relay it in a way that would appear that it actually wasn't a fantasy of his.
Well, no, absolutely, right? And I'm just like, and I just remember like listening to this video that was sent to me, and I was like, first off, why am I living in your head rent free like a couple years after this course, right? And so that's something else like I never fully understood. I don't need to understand it, but I just thought it was so weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
Another
I
thing
don't
that
want
is,
people.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I don't want people thinking like I'm associated with that man.
No, not at all. You're not at all. Yeah. Another thing that is really funny, and this is kind of off topic, but I think people will think this is funny. So during college, like along, how many years ago was this, Jamie? This must have been like in 2018.
Yeah.
So like 8 years ago or 8 or 9
Oh my
years
God, I
ago,
can't
something
believe
like
that.
this.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was totally MAGA. I was totally a Trumpy Trumper. I
Hmm.
was defending him to the death.
I remember.
Uh,
Remember I got that little Hillary photo and put
well,
it in a
that's
frame and
exactly
you
what we're gonna say. So to give context, Jamie like loved Hillary Clinton, loved her. Okay, I hated her. I
and
was
current
like,
tense.
and
It's
who?
not past tense.
Oh yeah, you still like her. And so Jamie and I would always have like we'd always get into these spats about politics because I was Trump, he was Hillary, and we just couldn't see eye to eye. But the funny thing about it all is that we were both gay, and like my world didn't make sense to him, his didn't make sense to me. So he brought a picture of Hillary Clinton to have up in like this, you like framed it. He got a framed picture of Hillary Clinton to have it in our hotel room to like it was like a dig at me. Well,
I packed it and put it in my suitcase, and I
yes.
felt so happy about this.
Yeah. Well, he was out of the room, and one of the other teammates from Model UN went into our room with me, and I said, "Okay, this is what we're doing. We're going to get the ironer, like the clothing ironer. Is that what it's called?"
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And we literally fried his picture of Hillary Clinton. Like we put the ironer, turned it all the way up, and then put it on her face on the picture. And
You didn't damage the frame though, because you took it out of the frame. I know that.
right, yeah. Yeah, so that was funny. The thing now though is looking back, not to say that I'm a huge fan of Hillary Clinton, but if I could go back in time and be a supporter of her versus the garbage that we have going on right now, I would most certainly be a big supporter of Hillary Clinton. So the listeners don't come at me for being MAGA because I absolutely am not, even though that I used to be.
Everything I just remember that moment in time, like, and if anyone truly knows me, like I live for this shit, right? Like I live to get people like just to have fun and like pull pranks. And so that was like one of my proudest moments at Mall UN.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny.
I
Well,
think I was looking forward to it the whole time.
probably you must have.
Be- because I remember it was you, me, and Allie that shared that room. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
That was funny. Okay, well, we had like kind of three stories for you today. One was very off topic, so I apologize, but I think you probably think it's funny.
I
Um,
love it.
yeah. For the listeners, as always, make sure that you subscribe and save. We're streaming anywhere you can get your podcasts. Make sure you rate us as well. You can follow us on social media. It's Romance Unraveled on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you have a story you'd like to share, I've had a lot of requests lately. You can reach out to me directly on one of those platforms, and I'll get you scheduled to come onto the show. Until next time.